I guess, pride playing for your club. Like there's the clubhouse and everyone comes and supports the men's and the reserves, and it's great ball, man. It's something else. So you practice a lot. I think we practice 3 days a week and then games on weekends. But yeah, it was great. You learn a lot about yourself when you're over there practicing that much, realizing how shitty you are at one thing and one aspect of the game.
So I was trying not to get too sappy here because they're going to be booing the shit out of you now in about 3 weeks.
You're fucking right, they will.
Ladies man, but I'm unhappy now. For courting 6 girls all at once, they used me. My mother said it was naughty, I should kiss her back. But I said if it's naughty, sure it's also very good.
And the lollipops is great, Rob's Dalton. The benches are clearing.
Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly is brought to you by CoolBet. If you got a few extra bucks rattling around in your arse pocket, CoolBet Sportsbook will double your first deposit up to $200 when you use the bonus code DUSTUP. Head over to coolbet.com and get in on the fastest growing entertainment sector in the world. That bonus code again is DUSTUP, one word, all capital letters, DUSTUP. Welcome back, folks. Episode 28 of Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. We're into November, Hilly. It's getting close for you, buddy.
Yep, moving along, about 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and we got a great guest, a very timely guest coming on with us with Quinten Bruce tonight, just recently named to the roster to go down there, just to guide us on the rise. Can't wait to get chatting with him.
Right. Yeah, I guess it was a while ago now we started these Future Stars episodes, but I think Quinten has surpassed the Future Star and has moved into current star in our game. And he certainly rubber stamped that with the season he had this year and capped it off with the Team Canada selection.
100%, man. The way he's come on the radar and more impressively how he's done it is something I'm really excited for our listeners to get to know him a little bit more. So let's get right into it. Quinten Bruce. All right, boys, here we go. Quinten Bruce, thanks for coming on the podcast, buddy. Looking forward to this for a long time. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, boys. Happy to be here.
What's up, Q?
This is it. We got him. Hilly, we got him. We're talking to him down in Newfoundland. Got to know Quinten pretty good over the last couple of years. I heard your name on the scene, on the radar for a number of years up until last year, but we got the opportunity to suit up with you at the ISC season last year, and it's been kind of a whirlwind couple of years for you.
Yeah.
Dedicating yourself to growing on the senior level and just getting capped off by being named to Team Canada, which we can't wait to go through. But I want to start it off by saying a huge congrats on being named to the squad going down to New Zealand.
I appreciate it, really do. It's felt like a whole ball season between nationals getting named, and then the next couple of weeks here going down there. I can't wait for it, man. Words can't describe it.
So how is training going? I guess we're only, what are we, three weeks out now from our first tournament, I guess, in Palmerston. How's training going? Were you playing league late this year? Did you have much after Canadians, or how's all that going for you?
There wasn't much after Canadians back here at home. There was OCCs, which I went with my the hometown boys in Grand Valley. And then our Milverton League wrapped up. I guess that was prior to Canadians, but after OCCs, it kind of wrapped up here. And then training wise, we've been lucky. Weather's been good. So just been hanging out, getting out with the boys, with Pup and Dustin Vienoff throwing some live BP. It's been good. Yeah. It's been great.
Yeah. Vienoff had a good Canadians, eh?
Oh, he was really good. He's definitely broke out this year.
We got here, Hilly, today's November 2nd, right? And
all day.
All day today, November 2nd. November 1st yesterday, if you're counting. Yesterday, I think it was 19 degrees sunny. Today, 16 degrees and sunny. If you're trying to extend the ball season, being up here and getting the weather cue is awesome. But there's a whole gamut of things that we want to go through. The stuff that's very exciting now, all the work that you put in and experiences to get where you are now. But you just mentioned the senior league, this Milverton League that you guys are now running up here. And that's very interesting to me, knowing, I come from a senior league, or I'm a senior product of the senior league in Newfoundland. We hear Hilly talking about it. Can you just give a little bit of insight on the formation of that league? Has it been an extension of previous leagues, or how did it all come to be?
Well, all the credit's due to Johnny Baker. He and a couple other guys put their foot forward, and they really got the ball rolling with this league. I mean, in Ontario, there used to be a real good traveling ISC league, and that was prior to whenever I got into the men's level. And he came with this idea to have a senior league, a real good competitive league, Tuesday nights in Milverton, and we got guys traveling 2.5 hours to come play in it. It's great. Every Tuesday night we play double headers, and it's the best, in my opinion, the best ball players in Ontario that come to Milverton. Usually put on a real good show for 2 games, and just like any men's league night, there's a couple pops afterwards in the parking lot. It's great.
Of course.
Yeah.
It certainly helps too, right? Like, I mean, we reap the benefits here. I know, like, playing league, you're playing ISC ball, you're playing at the highest level, and you're facing the best pitchers week in, week out, just to get some extra swings and just to see some pitches, no matter the caliber really, but just to kind of stay sharp. It certainly helps coming into the weekend stuff.
That's right. Yeah. And I think, it's a biased opinion, but I think there's a knock on Ontario guys competing, trying to make the national team. And I think it's what Bakes has done. He's put he put all the best players playing against each other Tuesday nights, and, the best are going against the best, and guys still want to win. There's still that competitive edge with everyone. So it's great for us. And
and that just keeps the league sustainable. It's no good putting all the top guys on one team, right? Like,
that's right.
Similar to what we do with the junior draft, disperse all the talent, right? So you can build that rivalry, and you don't have the one team just running away with it every year, right? Because you lose interest pretty quick.
That's right. And we got a lot of interest with junior guys coming through now. So we at the beginning, we did try to replicate it after the Newfoundland League. You see all the success and all the great players that come from it. So we tried our best to replicate it as good as we possibly could and just run with it. And the first year with it, couldn't ask for a better year.
Yeah, exactly. Not every kid is playing IC ball, right? So, they're looking forward to a good product to participate in too, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. And my brother is a prime example of that. He's never played. He played junior ball in Owen Sound, and he never really got a sniff at the men's level. And this year he played Tuesday nights. He had a really good year, and he ended up playing ISCs with Elmira this year.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's just can't say enough good things about it.
That's wicked. And Jason, as you said, Junie Bruce said in our last episode, just a couple of things. But
a couple where's
of things.
The trophy?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But on that, because when I moved up with Robbie O'Brien in 2006, and I lived in Fergus, Ontario, there was that ISC Travel League. We'd go up to Owen Sound every week. There's double headers. We'd play in Aurelia. We'd travel around, right? And there's a lot of teams going there, and it really was an ISC showcase, but it was definitely in a preparation to get ready for the ISCs, the ASAs, but it brought a larger Ontario softball community, right? And then I think you brought up a good point, because back then there was so much talent and domination coming out of Ontario. There seems to be a shift now to the East Coast and West Coast over the last couple of years, or call it 10 years since then, and to see a formation of a league, or an absence of a senior league that you guys have created, right? It does leave that void, and having that filled does a lot of things. One, it's, as you said, it's putting the best against the best, giving something for coaching staff for Team Canada to follow along with. It gives some ISC teams an opportunity to look at that and see if there's any emerging talent coming out of there. But it also gives a place for young ball players who didn't previously have that opportunity to cut their teeth in Ontario, get noticed by an ISC team, and actually set larger dreams than they would be able to if they didn't have that league. So to see it come through, hats off to Johnny Baker and all you guys for coming out and doing it. I think you'll probably agree as you go along. Getting it started, getting through the first year will be the hardest, and then everything will just kind of snowball from there. So can't wait to see what's going to come out of that league in the coming years. But can you give us a little background on when the ISC came on your radar and how you came to come in love with the men's game, at the junior levels, and now breaking into the senior ranks and now being a member on the Canadian senior men's team? Where did it all start for you?
It started for me in 2017, I guess. Where was that? I think that was in Grand Rapids, I think, West Michigan, I think. Yep. Anyways, yeah, so I was playing just locally here, and my first taste of the ISC level, the Wyerton Nationals asked me to go, and that was a great group of guys. Just a lot of hometown guys. And
was Ryan Thompson RT on that team that year?
RT's the man.
Guy. He's wicked,
oh my God. Oh, he's the best. Him and his brother Brent. Oh man, beauties, man, beauties. Yeah, they really showed us the ropes of what men's ball is really about. Yeah, it was great. That was my first taste of it, and I think that year we actually finished in the ISC ones, which they've never done before. So it was a great first exposure to what the big boy teams are like.
Right. You had a little spell down in New Zealand too. Was that before all of this, or was
that was in 2017? I played my first year was with the Wyerton Nationals. 18-19, I was with the Kitchener Cubs, and then after the 19 year after ISCs, I went to New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah. How did that all come to be? How do you go from it's your second year playing in the ISC, breaking with Wyerton, you go to Kitchener Cubs, which is a very, very storied franchise as well. They had a great year that year. How did New Zealand opportunity come on your radar, and walk us a little bit through those 6 months and how it went for you?
So I guess it all started from, I was Facebook friends with, or a guy I played junior with, he went over the previous year, and I just had this moment that this guy went to New Zealand to go play ball. What more could you ask for? Like, that's exactly what I want to do. And the more I got to talking to the guys and the opportunities that were in New Zealand, it seemed, I guess, more realistic. At the time, it was just like I don't know, what are the chances of me getting to New Zealand? But then you start playing with all these guys who had those opportunities and said, yeah, we got connections over there. And then I was actually talking to Patty Shannon, was the guy that I was talking to. It was actually the year that he got inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame. After ISCs, up at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill up there, have a couple
Some
beers.
of the best deals are done, buddy.
That's right. Yeah, anyways, we're talking to him, and he said, yeah, my brother, Heine Shannon, who I'm pretty sure you know pretty well, Lolly.
I know Heine, but Heine Shannon, he's a legend in his own right over there. So,
man, he's the best. So, Patty hooked me up with Heine, and Heine, I was like 2 months of talking to him. I was on a flight to New Zealand, and I was there for 6 months, just shy of 6 months. I actually had to come home early because of COVID. But yeah, the ball over there it's insane, man. Like, it seems like every kid plays softball over there. Like, there's such a big, like, the softball club I was a part of was the Waitakere Bears, so West Auckland, and they had 1,000 kids registered under one club.
That's
like
crazy.
from the age of like 4-year-olds, like kids playing t-ball, all the way up to the men's level. And like there's a lot of I guess pride playing for your club. Like, there's the clubhouse, and everyone comes and supports the men's and the reserves, and it's great ball, man. It's something else. Like, you practice a lot. I think we practice 3 days a week, and then games on weekends. But yeah, it was great. You learn a lot about yourself when you're over there practicing that much, realizing how shitty you are at one thing and one aspect of the game.
So I was trying not to get too sappy here because they're going to be booing the shit out of you now in about 3 weeks.
You're fucking right, they will. And that's wicked too. It just makes it.
Trying to butter them up here.
No flies on you there, Q.
Yeah.
But I know Patty very well. Great friend of mine. Played with him with Kitchener and all that. He's know him a lot more personally than I do knowing Heine. What's Heine like as a guy behind the scenes off the ball field?
Dog. Everyone calls him Dog. And he was 45. He was 42 years old the time I was over there, and he was still throwing every game. And there's a reason guys call him Dog, because he's going to pitch, and he gave us a chance every time at that age. And behind the scenes of ball, Heine was a man. Like, there's something about him, I guess. I don't really know how to explain him. Yeah. He's the best. Yeah, I lived with his family, which was great. They had Ethan Shannon, his youngest, is coming up through the men's ranks, which is pretty cool to see because he's just following his uncle's and his dad's footsteps.
That's wicked, man. But
I remember
you can't say enough about a guy that's going to take you, a guy from across the world that he's never met, welcome into his home. It's just the softball community helping the softball community. So it's great to see that happen. But what were you going to say, Hilly?
I got a funny Heine Shannon story. First time I ever met him, it was in 2006, and I was playing in the Saskatoon League because I was playing for Aspen Black Sox.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I believe he was playing with ISCs were in Kitchener that year, and he was playing with the Patsies, I believe. And for whatever reason, he was living in Saskatoon. He was playing league in Saskatoon, so I threw in this league. So he was pitching for the Sask Merchants. So very first game, they got this Kiwi pitcher over here, this lefty. I didn't fucking know who he was. Anyway, so he was hitting too, right? And he was batting 3 in the lineup. So I was like, okay, this guy's he must be like really good, whatever. So it's top of the first, I'm pitching. I throw this guy. First pitch, I throw him, hits him right in the fucking helmet. Knocked him down. And his helmet flies off, but I didn't try it, but he was a complete gentleman, walked down to first base. So I'm like, okay, here we fucking go. So it's going to be bottom of the first. Me and this Kiwi he's going to hit me. We're going to have a row, and I'm getting kicked out of this game. But no, he went on about his business, and we kind of had a little laugh about it after the game. But he turned out he's a nice fella, real good fella.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty, a guy's guy, a gentleman of the game, and a class act. And the fact that he'd bring you in, welcome into his home, give you that experience, I think it just speaks to that. So you come back from there, and then I don't want to brush over that 2018-19 season, particularly the 19 season with the Kitchener Cubs. So that's your third ISC tournament at this point?
Yep.
And your second year with the Cubs, and you guys go on a run. Can you just take us through that tournament, your third one, and you make your way to the final. You go up against the Gremlins, and they beat you in that final. But what an experience that must have been for what would have been described as an underdog to get to that point. What was that like for you?
It was what a year that was. Mata just came back from winning in Prague with Argentina. The guy was throwing missiles, darts. It seemed like every time we got up, we just got to score 3 runs for this guy pretty much. Like, if we score 3, if he gets up 2, whatever, he's gonna shut the third one down. But yeah, our team, I think we only had 12 guys. So our bench, there was no one on our bench. We actually had to pick up before the tournament started, like about a week before. Brad Thompson was the coach, and he texted me, said, "Hey, we need a runner. Do you know anyone?" A week before the tournament. Yeah. I was like, oh, well, I guess I can call up one of the boys. So my best friend, Kyle Hunter, came with us too, and he was our 12th. So that just tells you, I was like, holy Christ. Anyways, we're going into this with 12 guys.
They call him a week before. He's like, who am I going to bring? Best friend.
Yeah.
He brings his best friend. I got to respect that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, so we went on a heater, and then we beat Hill United in extra innings, and there was like that moment was like, holy shit, we could win this thing. Like, we got a real, like, the way Matt is throwing, the way we're hitting the ball, we have a chance. And then we faced then we got it into it with New York, and they were a juggernaut. Like, Matt just ran out of steam, and we got them in the undefeated game, and I think they mercied us in 5. So the next day we had to come back and play the Twins, and that's always a good rival. It's always a good game. You got to play the sponsors, the other team that the sponsor has. Twins versus Cubs. It's a little bit of a rivalry in on itself, and we came out on the top half of that one, and then we had to play New York again, the final, and Matta gave it everything he had to get through that Twins game. And again, we just were on the shitty end of the stick, I guess you'd say, in that final. But as a team, like, I couldn't say enough good things about that team. We had we had 4 RGs on the team. The rest of us were Ontario guys, I think, for the most part. And yeah, we had a great group. It was a lot of fun. Just, it's odd when you look up and down the bench and there's only 2 guys. So you better show up, because there's no one taking your spot, and you want to win, you gotta show up.
So obviously the next year COVID put the shit to everything, but like, the Cubbies were around a long time. Was it known that season that it was the Cubs last year, because they didn't play no more, right?
There was plans of going into 2020. We did lose Matta, unfortunately, that he was going to the Twins.
Right.
But we had in talks with Michael Holder Braddock.
Okay.
And so like, he's a very competent pitcher and very capable. It's just he wasn't Matta at the time. So who knows how we would have done, but we had a really good team.
Yeah. And when, I guess, that decision that gets made, it was impacted, I'm sure, by COVID, right? With that coming through. And then,
yeah, for sure.
As shitty as COVID was overall, especially if there was a lot of people that didn't get a chance to play in the 2021 season, I guess it was, Hilly, when we went down for the tour. A lot of people couldn't come over. Yeah, on Hill United, Shalesy couldn't go, Falkard couldn't come over. It was a different looking roster for some of the teams, but that also presented opportunities for other guys. And Quinten, you got the opportunity to come on and join the Hill United Chiefs when we went on that 3-week shortened season, I guess we'll call it, down in the States. And that's when we got to suit up and get to know you a little bit. And what I can say from that was there was other guys that had played with you, were friends with you. I'm one of the veterans on that team. You always want to welcome in new guys, but there was guys singing your praises, and they couldn't sing them loud enough, because you lived up to everything in terms of what you brought the team as a player and as a teammate. But what was that like to get the call that you're going to get to play in the ISC that season, but it was going to be with Hill United? And then, maybe take us through, from your perspective, what that 3 weeks and ISC World Tournament was like for you.
Yeah. Whenever I initially got that call, it was like, I don't know. There's no words to explain it, to be honest with you. Whenever I was growing up, Hill United was the team. Like, that's the team you want to play for. Like, that was end goal. And getting that phone call was just, from Elsie, was unbelievable. I knew that it was going to be a different looking team from coming in, but yeah, just I guess with all the guys, they were really welcoming. It made it a lot easier. I got to play with my heroes pretty much. I'm not trying to kiss ass or anything, but whenever 2015, whenever you guys won gold at the Pan Ams and at the ISF in Saskatoon, that was like my initial, like, all right, I want to play for the national team. I want to play for Hill United, and getting that phone call is just, it was unbelievable. But playing with all the guys like you, Hilly and Lolly, like, you guys made it really welcoming. It was easy to play with you guys, and yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, she was, and I remember that was first time I ever met you. And obviously our tour didn't start off so hot. And I was like, these guys probably think we're fucking shit.
That was tough.
These guys, I thought we were shit.
Yeah.
I knew they thought we were shit. We finished 8th, I think, in the first tournament or whatever the fuck it was. We were out before brunch.
Yeah.
On the playoff.
I remember calling my parents. I think, after the tournament, I said, "Yeah, no, we're done. So you guys win it? No, would you guys finish? Like 6th? They're like, what? Yeah. It was a tough one for the boys. We're battling though.
Yeah.
Battling. We were battling demons, is what we were battling, because we were down there and we weren't going home. And we've gone through that, from eyeballs to appetite. So we won't go through everything over again. But very interested to get your take on it, right? Because we talked about getting better. What seemed every game or every stop that we made down in the U.S. and you got the opportunity to play in the ASA and in a championship game there. And I think for us, Hilly and I, having gone through pretty well just the 10 or 12 years that has been Hill United now, that's when we felt like the team was back in championship form. Was it kind of similar from your perspective once we got to, let's call it, Sunday of the ASA?
Yeah, like as a team, it felt like that. It felt like every game we were going to win. When you wear that uniform that you've dreamed of wearing, when things start rolling, it's, your chest is puffed out a little more. Your cleats hit the ground when you're walking. Everyone's got their eyes on you. That's what it felt like after that first tournament, after that 8th place finish, and going to ASAs. That we were starting to roll, and it felt real good. It felt like you felt good about yourself going into the diamond. But ASAs, personally, holy smokes, what a roller coaster for me personally. Holy fuck. I remember, that final game, I'll never forget it to the day I died. It was probably one of the biggest learning curves to date right now in my playing career. The situation in the finals is best way to describe it. I guess it was a hero or villain type situation. You lay out, make that catch. You're the hero. You got the team's only down by 1, but the villain part, which unfortunately did happen, dive, miss a ball, ends up 3 runs scoring. We're down by 3 or 4, whatever it was. Inside the park home run was just more salt to the wound. It was just it was a great. I'm glad it happened at that tournament, not ISCs. I mean, you don't want it to happen at any tournament, but for learning purposes, it was great because it was just you're not. It's a slice of humble pie, I guess is what you could say.
Yeah. Well, you and I chatted after that, and there was never any villain in terms of that, because we were there with you, and it's either if you lay up, right, and don't go for the ball, then you may have to face, well, why didn't you lay out, right?
That's probably a tougher question.
And there was going to be a run scored regardless, right? Maybe 2. And I love that you put it all on the line, that you had the guts to go for the ball and attempt to make the play that needed to be made to win the championship. Chances are we got a chance to win, but we're going to be up against it if you don't lay out for that, because we're going to be down anyway. And I love the fact that you went for it, and that we've all been there. Hilly and I have made errors or got out in big situations. You probably heard me talk about 2007 when there was a play that went over my head, and we lost the Nationals at home, and that was a run, and I still remember it to this day. But the learning that comes from it and how you've handled it and what's happened for you since then, I think it'll end up being one of the more defining moments for you that'll end up being more positive for you and the teams you play for. But I just wanted to say I'm proud of you for laying out the way you did, because you need to be prepared to fail and not afraid to go after it. And you got a ton of respect from me to see you in your first ASA championship game with the game on the line. You went out. They're all not going to go your way, but the fact that you did it speaks volumes to me, and hats off to you.
And sorry, and just to add to it, and when you get in those big games, especially against the top teams, you know, they're not all going to be 7-0 easy games to play. Like most times, games are going to be won and lost on a big play, right? But but you know, as so I'm looking at it from if I was a pitcher or whoever was pitching for us, like you want guys in the field who are willing to take those chances to make the big plays, right? You don't want to concede runs when there's a possibility that you could have prevented one or made an out. So I mean, you know, those are the type of defensive players that you want in the field.
Yeah. And I like, back to what you said, Lolly, there's, you know, whenever I came to the bench, like I had to quickly get ready because I was a second up in that, in the bottom half of that inning. Mm-hmm. And I'm a bit of a mental midget, right? So I was just fucking cheeses out there throwing BBs at me. I think it had to have been 3 pitches, sit right back down. And I was in shambles, right? I was just like, oh my God, just giving up. I just lost it for the team, right? But it was guys like yourself, Lolly, and Bradley. Bradley was the first guy to come up to me. He comes up to me, he says, said something like, that was my fault. I was yelling, lay out. Like, that's just like the type of guys that you want to play with too, is, you know, they've got your back no matter what. He was trying to take the blame. It's like, no, fuck. I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, you know, it's tough right now, but like, that's the type of guys that we're playing with. And I think that's one of the most important things is if you got each other's back as teammates, man, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah, well, I apologize. I couldn't come up to you because I was down the tunnel with my fucking jersey over my head under a fan trying to get a bit of cool air out my fucking body.
50 degrees Celsius, man.
50 fucking degrees. Every bit of it too, buddy. And I don't mean maybe. It was hot.
And I was talking to Mom and Dad after, and I don't know, there was a close-up or something. They said, geez, you're purple as Barney the dinosaur here at first base. And it was nuts, man. But Q, aside from that play, man, like it is what it is. Jesus, it could have happened to anybody, and the way you handle it, like I said, is great. But that was your first kind of in the thick of that Gremlins Hill United rivalry, and you've watched it for a number of years. What was it like to be a part of just that rivalry that has come to be so prominent over the last decade?
No, it's definitely nerve-wracking when you're going to the diamond, knowing that who's going to be on the other side of the foul line there. But, you know, whenever you get into the game, it's kind of all blacks out, you know, you're just playing a game. You're playing a kid's game. Have fun, you know, do all the right little things. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you put all the work in and, you know, the team executed what the team needed to get done, it'll maybe turn out in your favor. But it was a lot of fun, man. Like I just love the intensity of those games. You know, that when you're going to going to that game, that, you know, if someone gets touched on the base pads, you know, benches might be stepping out. Things are going to get personal. Yeah. I love that shit. You know, we don't play a physical sport, so anytime you can get a touch in, man, I'm all in for it. Let's fucking hit them.
Not a dog, right? That's what I'm going to start calling you dog here now. You're going to leave with Heine Shannon's nickname, but that's wicked. And so then we go into the ISC tournament, and that's when, you know, all the chips are on the table. I think everything goes up a notch, and it was cool for us to go through that. That season meant a lot for the organization. Hilly with Kenny Hill passing away, and our first season kind of in memoriam for him and how much it meant to the Hill family if we could win that. And then we get back against Hill United, or against the Gremlins, the Hill United Gremlins final, which was the first final since 2013, if I'm not mistaken, between the two teams. Right, which as much insane. As there's the rivalry there, but being, you know, we played him in 2012, we played him again in 2013, but we didn't meet for another 8 years, right, of that rivalry in the Big Dance final. And what a game, Q.
Oh, had it all. It had it all, man. It had it all. Oh, fuck.
What about your boy Hilly over there?
Holy fuck.
What?
when the first 5 innings, whatever it was, complete blur. Don't really remember anything, but I remember. I remember when the bases got loaded and we were starting to hit. Who's pitching? Pettit, right? Yeah, Pettit was throwing. We're starting to touch him up. You could feel the momentum going our way. Yeah. Oh man, the bench was as loud as it can possibly be, and then fucking Lolly tapped one back up to third base, scorched it to third base.
Yeah. Choose your fucking words wisely here.
Fucking scorched it.
Yeah,
and the plate, close play. Nico kind of greased up Abe's there, but you
got your touch-ups there. You got your
touch-ups there. Yeah, if you look closely in that video, I think I was the first one in there. But I'm not making any claims here. But and then after all that settled, the dust up settled.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dust up plug.
Yep, that's right. And Hilly came up and fucking smashed one to the fence. If you want, there's the video on YouTube there. Yeah, I honestly looked like a fucking kid coming out to Christmas morning, jumping up and down, waving the boys home. Was fucking. Oh, looking back on it's fucking funny, but
Lucas, Nick, just make a note. We got to get that video and share it on the social media when we put this episode out because it's hilarious, man.
Yeah, and oh man, whenever that ball got hit and the way Devo was throwing that night under the lights, there wasn't a fucking chance they were touching. They were getting 3 runs back. It was
old Lolly was pulled groin first to home. Nothing to it.
Oh
nothing
man,
to it.
I was some jack would have slid in the home base. I got up and and just I thought I was going to rip my jersey off. I was so happy, turning around screaming at Hilly. But there's a still shot of that where I'm sliding in, I'm coming up, but there's also I don't know if you should be pursuing softball. I think you should be doing Olympic high jumping.
Hops, man, hops.
Because he jumped so high, Hilly. I think you've seen it. The picture looks like his.
Oh man,
it looks like his cleats are about the height of Avery's shoulders. He got
one day, I rewatched it 10 times when you slide into home plate, and each time I focused on a different player just to see the reaction. So you got up like Tyson Fury got up after Dante Wilder, just ready to here you go. Q jumped 10 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Tony went down to crouch down as if to say, how the fuck didn't that go over the fence?
Yeah.
Patty come out like he was going to kill someone. Two fists were going, and he was shouting. And then we got Isaac jumping around speaking French, like it was hilarious.
Oh, man. It was wicked, man. But from our perspective, having been there, and this one being your first one, it was so special for so many people. But it was awesome to experience that with you. But that's a very defining moment in your career goals in the game of softball, I'm sure. You got on the top team that you were looking at from the outside in. You're getting to play with guys that were on the 2015 team that made you want to become a member of Hill United and of Team Canada. You're playing with 2 of the coaches of the Team Canada men's national team. So you're getting on the radar. You can tell a lot off the field there as well. When you're on the road for 3 weeks, you're building those bonds. And that's what I kind of want to go to now, because you knew that you belonged, that you fit in within at least some of the guys on the men's national team. Was that really when making the senior team became more of a goal that was within your grasp after that season? When what were you like after that till, say, now in your mind when it came to Team Canada?
Yeah, I would say even after the 2019 year, after getting named to the 40-man roster, there's that, when you get named to the 40-man roster, it was like, all right, now there's a chance. Like if I put the work in, who knows, right? And just gaining all that experience, like that's something money can never buy, is experience, right? And gaining that experience with the Hill United Chiefs that year, and like you said, creating those bonds, it definitely helped pave the way to making getting on the national team. But I also had a lot to prove, like, to be completely, like, I don't know about you guys, but I only had 3 at-bats at ISCs. And, I did kind of go through a little bit of a slump there, and the coaches had to make decisions accordingly. And I respected them, obviously, because, when you're in a slump, you're like, fuck, you're gripping the bat a little bit more. You're overthinking shit. It's like, okay, let's just hit the reset button. Let's just relax. Let's worry about the team. Let's be the best fucking bench staff we can be. Let's cheer on the boys, right? So, honestly, it was this year after the Hill tournament. It was like, okay, there's a chance here. I can make this team. But it was a big year last year, that's for sure.
So obviously after the Hill, after all that in 2021, you had to make a decision. And the new boys, Bear Creek, came on the scene, and just take us through how all that came to be.
Yeah. After the year with Hill, Elsie called me and he said that there was a spot on me with Hill United, but it came with what would have been the same role pretty much as the ISCs. So kind of a bench guy filling in here. He said, I'll get my spots. You got to earn them, this, that, and the other. But when the outfield is Bradley Ezekiel, Tommy Anoka, and Alan Pecker, it's pretty hard to find a spot for Quinten Bruce in the outfield, right? Those guys are established. They have their spot. They earned that spot. So I just felt like I had to go earn my spot somewhere else. And fortunately, I'm one of the luckiest fucking players, I think. The Bear Creek opportunity came up, and it was a no-brainer after Scope and Jeff Lyons and Cleary and Boland, all these guys started committing to it. It was like, okay, we're all in on this. Let's go with Bear Creek. And it was tough fucking saying no to Hill United. I mean, like I said before, I was pretty much playing my childhood dream team, pretty much, wearing the Hill United Chiefs jersey, rolling in that coach bus, and yeah, it was tough to say no to it. And fortunately, it worked out for the best. And at the end of the day, I'm really happy with Bear Creek, like their first-class organization and sponsors.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you had one hell of a year, and it's obviously paid dividends. You ended up on Team Canada, but we see it all the time with the Galway team. We got a lot of young kids that we take on year after year, but it comes a certain time where they have to make a decision as well. Do you want to pursue a role? Have to work for a starting spot, or do you go play with Team 2 where you're guaranteed a spot? I mean, you guys, all you young guys, you have bigger goals, and obviously making Team Canada was one of your top goals. So yeah, you made a decision which puts you in the best position to be able to achieve that, right? So in my opinion, it is hard to you're playing with Hill United, your childhood favorite team. Yeah. All the perks that come with that, the uniform, whatever it is, with whatever team, the swag, all this stuff, and the hoopla. But sometimes you just gotta, bite the bullet and go back and take a step back and play with a team which you may, or some may consider not as good or at that level of such and such a team. But I mean, those are decisions a young ball player got to make, because you got to play at the end of the day. You got to play, especially kids your age. You got to be in the lineup day in, day out. Yeah,
like that's exactly it. And if there's any young listeners ever listen to this podcast, go play.
We have hundreds,
thousands.
Oh, we got tens.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you have to go to a team where you're going to play, because if you're sitting on the bench, like, mind you, I did sit on the bench with the Kitchener Cubs in 2018, and that was one of the biggest years. Like, I just sat on the bench and I was a sponge, and I knew my role going into that. Brad Thompson said, this is your first year at the men's level. I just want you to get exposed to it. I want you to know what it's like to be playing at the men's level. And being around those guys, being around Walshy was there at the time. He was showing me how to pick pitchers. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, picking pitchers? And it's just the fine details that separate the good players from the great players, and just trying to be a human sponge at that point in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And Hilly, another couple of things on this, but I love this topic, right? And you're proof of this. There's a bit of a formula that you can see from a lot of the top guys in the game now and the emerging talent that's coming up, right? There's a lot to be said by being given a role opportunity on a bench with a great team that has a great culture and is going to be playing in championship games on the circuit, because you can learn how to navigate those situations, how the best players in the game approach them, and how you handle the ups and downs of defeat or coming back from adversity. You take that experience. The biggest waste would be to go and not ask any questions, not pay attention, not put time into developing relationships with your teammates, and not given every single opportunity that you're given during that season, everything you got. But you need to be good enough to get to that point. So you got to have talent to be recognized and given that opportunity. But then it's going to be a point where you're too good for that opportunity to sit there, because opportunity will pass you by. And you're going to be presented with that decision. Do I stay here where I'm comfortable? I could go and get a lot of great experiences, but I'm probably not going to be able to reach my potential and reach that higher level of making Team Canada. You will not make Team Canada if you don't play. That's right. And it's a scary decision. And you see the guys that are on Team Canada now, a lot of them were presented with that same decision. And I think it's the ones that made it to go play every single day, but also the ones that had that previous experience on the bench and learning, that are able to deal with that jump to the next highest level. And you're a prime example of that. So you made that decision to go to Bear Creek. You've had some relationships with the guys on that team, whether it's from your time playing in Ontario, Walshy was on the team the previous year when we played with Hill United. And then you go out and you have a hell of a season. Everybody was on the circuit was talking about, holy shit, Quinten Bruce is on fire. And you're playing in all these tournaments. You're playing on a top team. You're going to be in semifinals and finals. And you're smashing the ball. Wasn't he, Hilly? All year, the amount of times we talked about Quinten Bruce is smashing the ball. And then the chatter started. Like, this guy is making a name or making a case for one of the remaining 6 spots on the national team. And what I loved about this year, Hilly, was there was nothing really predetermined, right? Going into the ASA, ISC, and Canadians, you knew that all these players had an opportunity to prove themselves, and the team wasn't going to be picked until the middle of September. But you know, when for you did you think, I think Quinten Bruce he might make this team?
Well, I mean, obviously, Hill United and Bear Creek, we met multiple times this year. We were at basically all the same tournaments, pretty much, outside of one or two, maybe. So I was following your season quite closely, and we became friends the previous year when you played with us in Hill United. I got to meet you, and then I found out you were an asshole, and I said, okay, he's a good guy.
he's an asshole. What a beauty.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, you had a hell of a season, and then we went into 3 major tournaments with the ASA, ISC, and Canadians, and you made the All-Star team in each one. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. How do you go against that? If you're looking for a young guy who can play outfield, who can play hit, or who can hit, or a young guy who can play infield, can hit, and he puts up those numbers in the 3 biggest tournaments of the summer, then you're forcing one's hand there.
Yeah.
So
blind squirrel does find a nut every once in a while.
Yeah, right. He fucking. That's what I said to Buddy last night. He beat me in darts. He had triple 10 or double 10. I said, "Yeah, fucking blind squirrel gets in that every time." You prick.
Wicked, wicked. Yeah, and that the same. I think across the board with the guys that we buddy around with in the league. But when you got down to the Canadians, you just walk us through those last couple of months of this year, knowing that the decision was going to be made after the Canadians on those roster spots. Where did you think, where were your hopes at that point of actually getting one of those last 6?
Well, I didn't have a great Hill United, like the Hill United tournaments. When is that? It's like early June or something like that.
June
July
24th.
It
was our first one of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have a great tournament there, and all the coaching staff was there, and not that I felt any pressure or anything, but I just felt that I had a lot more to give. And to be honest, it all goes back to that Tuesday night league in Milverton, getting in some serious at-bats middle of the week and putting in some time and effort there really paid dividends. And, we went to ASAs, I guess. Yeah, ASAs. And we had a tough road. We lost, I think, our second or third game. And you guys know ASAs. Like, it's once you lose that game, it is a climb to get back into it. And and the team played really well. I had success, and one of the things it was funny story. We were playing Oma Tigers at ASAs, and they were kind of a scrappy team. They slapped the ball. They played a small ball team, and we're not really used to that. It was pretty frustrating, right? Like, all the guys are getting pissed off, and things are getting heated. I'm pretty sure Boley stepped out at the 16-year-old pitcher that threw an 83-mile-an-hour drop ball on his elbow. Bench is clear. They had one of those games that had it all. There was a time in that game we were up like 3 or 4 runs at ASAs, and there was a guy at first and third, and they just made a pitching change. And it was in like the 5th or 6th inning, and there was none out. And in my opinion, I was, all right, this is a bunting situation. We're bunting here. Like, we're moving the runners across, none out. And I was going over to Jeff Pauly, our third base coach. And as I was going up to him, Kyle Ezekiel, fuck, what a beauty, man. One of the best. One of the best.
You're freaking ready.
And And so I went up to Jeff and I said, I couldn't even get the fucking full sentence out of my mouth. I was going to say, Jeff, I'm bunting here. It's a bunting situation. This is going to put the nail in the coffin. Kyle's going to drive in these next 2 runs. And I've been practicing this for a week now. So this is no disrespect to the East Coast listeners, but Kyle, before I could say it, Kyle Ezekiel stepped in and he goes, "Not a fucking chance, me son. You're fucking swinging." and just like that, I was like, fucking right. This guy's like, when you got teammates that have the confidence in you to get the job done, it helped a lot. And I was trying not to laugh. And that at bat, I actually hit a screaming duck snort over the second baseman, but it just paid off. Like, but those guys giving the confidence in you to perform at that kind of stage, it definitely translated to the rest of the tournament and translated to ISCs, because once your teammates trust you and they believe in you, and just that extra boost of confidence, that's when things really started to turn for me, I thought, this year, or the season that just passed.
And just a tidbit there, buddy. It's the Oma Tigra.
Tigra.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They're the ones that beat us in our first tournament down on that tour that made us all question everything about playing softball.
Yeah, so, that's right.
Who didn't beat us?
Yeah, that's right. But what was it like, Q? You finished out the season. It's kind of in the coach's hands now, sitting back waiting for a phone call, and then to finally get it. Walk us and our listeners through what must have been one of the most special moments in your softball career.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of a mix of emotions. We just got a game was with Niagara at Canadians, and we just lost the game to the Toronto Badminton game. We had control and we just let it slip from our hands. So was kind of down about the game, and we're sitting around talking after the game. Guys are saying their goodbyes, this, that, and the other. And excuse me, I was walking off, getting my cleats off, and Stewie called me over and he said, you forced the hand to us. You can get time off to come to New Zealand with us. And oh man, I wanted to give him a hug right there. I was so happy. I was so excited. I couldn't. The first thing I thought about was how happy my parents were going to be, because the amount of sacrifice my parents did. Holy fuck! Like, it was insane. Like a little bit about my background. Like I grew up on a dairy farm, and my parents, they made sure that both my brother and I played organized sports because they never did. And man, I could cry talking about my parents, but it was really special, and to be able to tell them and see the excitement on their face, and it was unbelievable.
That is awesome, man. Right, Hilly, you didn't know what it was like to get the call that you made it. I can tell you exactly where I was when I got the call. We know how special that is, but when you found out, Hilly, that he made the team, I know how proud you were of him.
Absolutely. And like I said, I followed his summer pretty closely, and to me, it was just all I could think of was well deserved. He's the right pick. He should have been there, and let's go. Yeah,
that's wicked. But it's one thing to make Team Canada with 2 years ago till the next WBSC. It's a lot to go through this roller coaster of emotion, because you're trying to get on the radar. Then you're trying to play well in the season that you need to get noticed to get this last spot. So there's so much tied up in trying to make the team, and then you got to quickly transition into getting ready to play for the team. And I'll just pass on a little bit of what I experienced from my first time making Team Canada. So I got that phone call when I was down having beers with my buddy Chris Ennis's basement on a Saturday night. I get a call on the cell phone where you got to haul up the friggin' antenna, and there was a 902 number. I didn't know what it was, and it was Mark Smith. And this is 2 weeks before they go to the Pan Am Championships, and that's when we talked about it on here. Keith Mack and Tosh couldn't go because of a family thing, and just got the call, wasn't expecting it. Can you come in 2 weeks? And you go down there and completely overwhelmed. But I think I had some of the things going for me that you did, in the sense that I played with a lot of the guys on that team. There was familiarity there, right? You're not just coming into a group that you don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. So you already got that going for you, right? And I'd suggest to you, use that. Right, you're not coming in to try out for Team Canada now, and this is not just about Quinten Bruce getting experience in the Team Canada jersey. You're on that team to help the team win in 5 weeks' time, and you deserve it. And you're going to play a big role down there. So don't go down there just to get experience. Go down there with that edge that you deserve to have, because this is going to be a quick turnaround, and you're ready for it. So I think the team, the way it's set up, you fit in perfectly with it. You're familiar with the coaching staff. So I'm really proud of you, man, and I'm excited to see what you do down there. And so now give us your take. You've gone through all this stuff, and now you're getting ready to jump on a plane with the boys to go down and compete for your country. Where's your head at going into it now that it's real?
Excited, nervous. It's gonna be fun. Like it's great that we're going down to do the Palmerston North tournament. I think that's really important, since it is kind of our off season. I mean, I know a few guys, like the Newfoundland League wrapped up a couple of weeks ago, but for Ontario here, we had Canadians, and then it just came to an all stop. But just trying to keep putting the work in and doing all the right little things, working out, staying in shape, getting reps in whenever you can. But overall, just fucking, I'm excited, man. There's I hope every team is scared to play Canada, because the guys that are up and down that lineup, and there's so many good players. There's not a single hole on your national team, right? And it's fun to be a part of. And yeah, I'm just really excited about it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a battle too. There's no more easy games, man. The days of easy games are gone.
No.
And, every game's a playoff game, which just makes it that much more fun. The intensity rises every game. Fuck, it doesn't matter who you're playing.
Yeah. I'm excited for that Palmerston North game, or Palmerston North tournament. Everyone can start feeling each other out, maybe create a little tension, get your touch in, I guess is what.
Did you play there when you were down there with all your best friends you were so fond of?
I went to Palmerston North once. I didn't play though. I went and watched my billet brother play.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how cool is it though? Your first major tournament with Team Canada is back in New Zealand. You're familiar down there. You'll that's going to help your cause too, right? You're familiar with that. When we went down there, I didn't know what the fuck was on the go. So when me and Hilly go down there, and there's something I got written down I want to go through in a second, is we get down, we got to know the lay of the land. Where are we? Where's the takeout spot we're going to go? Where's the closest beer store? What's around? What's to do in our downtime? Just get the lay of the land. Now you know that. Remember, Hilly, it's all a process when you're going to these new spots, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a funny story. I talk to Abby all the time, Colin Abbott, because he was down there. When was that, Lolly? 04?
04, yeah.
I think it was in Christchurch. Quinten, you probably got a lot of friends down there too.
Zero.
But anyway, he said it was quite hostile back then, and this is back in the Dino days and who else? Obi and Brad, all these guys around there. So it was quite the heavy rivalry. But he said the place was packed down there, and he said he was playing outfield, right field, and he said every game he'd just be getting it from the fans, like just getting chirped, this and that. And he said, he said especially the games against the Kiwis, he said he always had to run to the fences. There's fucking balls going everywhere. He said he always had to go back to the fence, and he'd be hearing it from the fans. But he said there was this one guy who was just all over him every game. This one guy, and he'd always sit in the same spot. And he said they were playing the Aussies in the game to go to the finals. And this guy, he goes, "Hey, Abbott," he goes, "we'll cheer for you this game because we fucking hate the Aussies more."
That is freaking wicked, man. That's
unbelievable.
It was one of the best places to play. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you get, regardless of where the world rankings are or whatever, it's kind of, when Canada plays New Zealand, especially in one of the home countries, it's going to be intense. It's prime time friggin' softball. So I can't wait. I cannot wait. You guys play. That's going to be special knowing that it's down there. But Q, I got written down here, and this is a little treat for Hilly, I suppose, right? So you probably don't know who your roommate is going to be down there, right? And we know that Hilly's on the roommate free agency here now, right? So I'll give, in case it's you, I'm just going to give you a couple of little pointers. Hilly, I even took the time to write these down, buddy. Look, right here. Look, and there's a list, probably 7 or 8 on here. All right. So Q, in case, because I want to make this transition even a little bit more smooth for you, right? So if you get Hilly as the roommate, here's a couple of things, so you may save you some time. He has OCD when it comes to room tidiness, right? So just respect that, right? I had to learn that. Took me about 15 years to figure that
out. Nothing wrong with that.
No. He appreciates coffee being brought up to the room, 1 milk, half a sweetener. That's all he needs. Come up from the lobby. He's probably going to get food poisoning. So you got to get some Tums. You got to get some fruit trays, Pepto-Bismol. Have that all on hand. Take it with you even before you go. So save you a trip, right? Pack that in on the way. Bring an HDMI cable so you can hook up the laptop for Netflix, right? Game changer in the room, Hilly, isn't it?
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One game a day. Lots of downtime.
Lots of downtime, right? You got to have it up on the big screen so you can even watching another game in the tournament. You got it up there. Mm-hmm. If you're first in the room, close the curtains, put AC on full blast. You're going to be in good books then, and don't make fun of him for wearing his towel up above his belly button when he gets out of the shower. It's going to be hilarious when you see it. Don't let it throw you off. We talked about it. Anyway, those are a few things in Rooming with Hilly 101.
Yeah. So you
Might
nailed
have to
it.
put a special request in not to room with them then.
Yeah, well, that might be a smart move too.
You stick to them points, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Quinten, buddy, getting you on here has been a treat. You've had an incredible season, an incredible couple of years, capped off by being named to the men's national team, getting ready to go down. Huge fan. You're a great buddy and great teammate. Thanks a lot for coming on and doing this with us.
Boys, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I was really nervous going into this, but it's just talking to the boys. It's I love it. And what you guys have done to the game, man. The way you ended it, Lolly, in Newfoundland, fuck. That's what dreams are made of right there. Could have made a fucking movie about it, buddy. It was unreal.
Buddy. That's
Hey, there might be a movie coming yet.
Yeah. We don't know what genre, but yeah.
It'll be adult only anyway.
Yeah. But another great episode, Hilly.
Yeah. Thanks, Q. Happy training, buddy. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. We got Lucas and Nick here. A little bit of rum ragged to take us out.
Get out of here! I told you, Mr. Drama.
I used to be a ladies' man, but I'm unhappy now. For courting 6 girls all at once, they used me.
Bye-bye, baseball!
My mother said it was naughty, I should kiss her back. But I said if it's naughty, sure it's also very